A topic we've talked quite a lot about on our show. Some desperate parents trying to curb their kids' internet addiction, as it's being called. And some of these parents turn to boot camps in China for help. And their treatment is the focus of a new PBS series called Web Junkie. You just saw a little bit of that there. Director and producer Shlam chronicles this in this new piece that's going to be airing on Monday on PBS. So, Shosh, you were able to get some incredible access into these boot camps in China. What's the most shocking thing that you saw or that you learned in this entire process?
The shocking thing was to see teenagers that are tricked by their parents to come to this boot camp. They were given sleeping pills, and when they woke up in the morning, they found themselves behind bars.
Is that because they were so attached to their screens that the parents couldn't get them away? Why would the parents have to trick them?
Because these kids drop off school. These kids are using the internet, in this case gaming, more than 10 hours a day. These kids are going to internet cafe wearing diapers, not to lose one precious moment of the game. This is the last, chance for the parents maybe to cure them.
Well, it's interesting too. China is the first country in the world to actually classify internet addiction as a clinical disorder. And that's something new. It's a little controversial in the world of psychiatry about whether or not this is an addiction. I know you're not a medical professional, but you obviously spent years researching this. From what you saw inside the boot camp, how do they treat this disorder in China?
So yes, China is the first country and the only country yet to declare it as an addiction. And if you use the internet more than 6 hours a day, not for studying or work purposes, you are an addict. China is very concerned that this is a big threat.
So we're seeing pictures, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we saw a kid sitting there with electrodes, it looked like, on his head, and we've seen them in almost army uniforms. So how long are they in this boot camp, and what sort of treatment do they receive?
So they're in the boot camp for 4 months in a very strict army discipline. The treatment is therapies between themselves, group therapies, and between themselves and their parents.
Does it work?
And they are giving antidepressant pills.
Wow.
Professor Tao, the psychiatrist that runs this center, claims for 70% of success, but I couldn't verify it, with other sources. Now, what I want to add that China opened this boot camps all over China because they're very worried that this is a big threat to Chinese society. And as being a communist, country, you have to be a productive citizen.
Well, that's very interesting. I know there's some questions about whether or not we're seeing this in America as well, as kids are so attached to their screen. I want to encourage our viewers to check out Web Junkie. It premieres Monday, July 13th at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on PBS. You can find out more on POV.org. And the film will stream from July 14th through August 13th as well. So, Shosh, thank you very much for the time.